What is up, Space Pirates? Sorry I've been away for so long, but I'm a pretty busy guy, and my family and my business both needed me. That being said, today I wanted to dive right back into the swing of things. I wanted to discuss the upcoming box office bomb that will be hitting theaters in just a few days, The Marvels.
I have a package for you.
Sounds broken.
Most likely, sir. I'll bet it was something nice, though.
As many of my longtime viewers will remember, I have long been a critic of the MCU. Basically, as soon as Phase 3 ended and WandaVision came out and Phase 4 showed us exactly what the studio's focus was going to be, I could see the writing on the wall. They were just trying to milk the MCU for as much money as they could possibly get out of it by using the skin color of their actors and the gender of their actors as gimmicks for selling their movie to what they thought was a wildly progressive audience. And if anyone objected to this new way of doing things, they would call you every name in the book and berate you until you finally gave in.
I did everything you said, and it's over.
This isn't over until I say it's over!
Sorry, okay, relax, dude. One more phase, that's it.
Yeah, I'm not as agreeable as most people. I have been tuned out of the content for the MCU for quite a while now. They tried to gaslight us into thinking things were swell in the MCU, but it has gotten bad, really bad, to the point that now even the mainstream media has been pointing out how shitty things are for Disney and their once glorious cash cow.
That's not good. Okay, that's not good!
Alright, let's have a look at this Screen Rant article, shall we? Keep in mind that this online rag usually sucks up pretty hard to Disney and other companies like them, but it has recently become en vogue to shit on Disney because it is so blatantly obvious that the company deserves it and because South Park are amazing as trendsetters.
Put a chicken in, make her gay!
Anyhow, the article says, the Marvel's ticket sales are lower than two of DC's biggest box office bombs. New ticket pre-sales numbers for the Marvels places the upcoming MCU sequel lower than two of the DC Extended Universe's biggest box office bombs.
So that's
Jeez, is that true?
That's delightful.
While already expected to be one of the franchise's lowest box office openings, the Marvel's ticket pre-sales place the Marvel Cinematic Universe sequel lower than two of the DC Extended Universe's biggest bombs. The Marvels acts as a sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel, as well as a follow-up to Disney Plus's Ms. Marvel and WandaVision, crossing over the stories of Brie Larson's Carol Danvers, Teyana Paris's Monica Rambeau, and Iman Vellani's Kamala Khan, blah blah blah. If I cared about the story of this piece of crap, I would make plans to go see it. Next paragraph. With less than a week remaining until its release, Deadline has revealed new ticket pre-sales numbers for the Marvels. The MCU sequel is currently tracking for around $70 million in its opening weekend, not only behind the franchise's worst reviewed movie, Eternals, which opened to $71.2 million, but also behind two of the DCEU's biggest bombs, Black Adam and The Flash. The Dwayne Johnson-led movie opened to $67 million, while the polarizing Ezra Miller starring Multiverse Adventure opened to $55 million. Now, I gotta pause right there. I may not be a mathematician, but 70 million is more than 67 and 55 million. So it doesn't seem to be tracking behind The Flash or Black Adam unless projections are actually worse than they're stating and they're just rounding up to make it sound better. But in any event, even if it is 70 million, that's in the ballpark of Black Adam, and it is behind the Eternals, which is not a great place to be. Now, I like the question, which serves as the header for this article's next section. I find it humorous. Will the Marvels be the MCU's first proper box office bomb? Dude, if it bombs, it won't even be the first bomb this year, let alone the first bomb of the MCU. AntMan Quantumania was a box office disaster. But the article says, with its current projections, the Marvels is not only rivaling some of DC's lowest figures, but also eyeing potentially one of the worst overall box office outings for the MCU to date. While Eternals was one of the lowest in over a decade, it still performed modestly in the long run, going on to gross over $402 million against its $236.2 million production budget. This is deceptive. It is deceptive use of the numbers, and I have to point out that $402 million gross is not net pay. Movie studios take home something in the ballpark of 50% of the box office haul, meaning Disney got to keep roughly $201 million. The rest goes to the movie theaters. I mean, how else are the theaters supposed to make a buck? I mean, they're not going to do their work for free, so yeah, they take half of it and Disney gets the other half. And the $236 million budget is also not factoring in the marketing for the film. Now, it's difficult to get an exact number for what the marketing budget was, but most analysts estimate that major movies from the likes of Disney spend around $100 million on marketing. Even without factoring in marketing, though, the $201 million that Disney made on the Eternals would have them losing $35 million against their $236 million production budget. So, the movie, The Eternals, was a certifiable bomb, and I refuse to let these shills pretend that it wasn't. Anyhow, the article continues, the lowest opening for the franchise to date remains 2008's The Incredible Hulk, which similarly was deemed a modest success, ultimately grossing over $264 million against its reported $150 million production budget. Now, I warn you, this next paragraph will have you scratching your head in confusion and frustration. Buckle up, me hearties. It says, the one movie the Captain Marvel sequel will hope to repeat is 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, despite already projected to open 72% lower than the Paul Rudd threequel.
Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it either.
Now, I have to assume that they are missing a word in this paragraph. I have to assume they mean to say that this movie hopes not to repeat Quantumania. But of course, acknowledging that Quantumania was a bomb runs counter to what they said earlier about the Marvels potentially being the first MCU bomb. This whole thing is confusing. It makes me think that the NPC who wrote this article needs an update.
Does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute.
Anyhow, let's continue. Between the movie's mixed reception and the sub-franchise already being one of the MCU's lower-grossing properties, Quantumania ultimately closed out its theatrical run with over $476.1 million. Though it may have been higher than Eternals, the combination of a $200 million production budget with extensive marketing campaign resulted in a reported break-even point of $600 million, for which it fell short of, and landing the unfortunate title of the MCU's worst performing movie to date. Right here, this article is acknowledging what I said before. Quantumania had a roughly $200 million budget, so if the break-even point is $600 million, then what I said before, that most big-budget films spend around $100 million on advertising, is correct. They are also acknowledging that Ant-Man was a major flop, costing Disney over $60 million, meaning that the Marvels would not ever be able to be the first box office bomb for the MCU, because of course there have been box office bombs before. Now, to cap things off, the article says, given early reports have indicated the movie's net budget is $219.8 million after receiving a massive filming subsidy, the Marvels' ticket pre-sales and early box office projections do not bode well for the movie's chances at avoiding becoming one of the MCU's biggest box office bombs. One of the big things that could help the movie overcome these numbers would be strong critical reviews or positive word of mouth from audiences. However, with public test screenings reportedly scoring mixed reviews, this may similarly be a problem. The other major thing that could boost the Marvel's chances is the competition that it'll face in the weeks after its release, with The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes projecting for a franchise-low opening, while Disney's Wish is similarly eyeing a modest $50 million opening. Oh my, you love to see it. Not only is Disney looking at a major box office flop with The Marvels, but Wish looks like it will fail similarly. It's almost as if abandoning your core audience with this woke garbage was never going to work in the long run. It's almost as if abandoning normal people who just want a little bit of escapism from the doldrums and hardships of everyday life, as if abandoning those people in the long run is going to cost them bigly. Eventually, goodwill gives way after people realize that the folks running the MCU don't have any good story ideas. All they have are ideological talking points, and those eventually become as stale as the acting in a Brie Larson film.
Here's a proposition for you. You're gonna give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm gonna let you keep your hand.
And if you have any inkling to go and see this movie, may I humbly ask that you remember what Brie Larson thinks of you.
I do not need a 40-year-old white dude to tell me what didn't work for him about A Wrinkle in Time. It wasn't made for him.
Thanks for the advice.
Anyhow, that's all I've got for you today. It's good to be back. Hopefully you'll see me more often again these days, though with my scheduling changes, we're probably looking at afternoon uploads instead of mornings for the foreseeable future. Take it easy, Space Pirates, and we will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.